What if I don't? What if I don't answer your questions? All right, we're gonna start with some questions. I'm gonna start with Instagram. All right, question time. Here we go. Have you always been a PC gamer? If not, what was your first console? I actually just got a PC the January before last. So I've had a PC for like a year and a half. Like I've had a PC when I was younger, but I never gamed on PC until then. And I've only been on keyboard and mouse since last May. So over a year now, I just hit year. My first console was literally like a Nintendo. Like I'm that old. I remember playing games on Nintendo. I played a little bit more on Nintendo, like Super Nintendo and then Nintendo 64, but we had a Nintendo. The furthest I got in rank, I usually get to diamond and quit, but we're pushing for masters this season. That's why I'm like trying to grind it. What is the biggest regret and what is your thing you are most proud of for yourself? I don't really think I have any regrets. I think if anything, it's not really a regret and I could still do it, but I think it would have been really cool to like live on the ocean for like a year before I started my hair business. Cause I'm kind of like grounded here now because of my hair business, but that like, I could still do it. It's not really a regret. You know what I mean? But even like mistakes that I've made, I don't really regret them because your mistakes kind of make you who you are. And if I didn't make some of the mistakes that I made, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I don't think I'd be as happy. My favorite food is, this is from Murphy. It is Mexican food. I love Mexican food, all of it. Churros, sopapilla, tacos, nachos, cheese on a chip on a cheese, everything. Jaren wants to know if I found my gamer boy yet. If no, can I apply? Guys, there's no gamer boys in Colorado. No, people go out and they do things. The only gamer boys I know of in Colorado are my family. So that doesn't really help me. Biggie wants to know what my favorite part of streaming is. I would have to say like the community that we've created. My favorite part about streaming is probably like the community and like, I don't know, just the connections that I've made over time. I mean, I get to play video games as a job. Like that's pretty amazing too, you know? Like I would definitely say the people and just gaming. Buttman wants to know, would you rather our first date be at Wendy's or Dairy Queen? You clearly don't know me if you think I would pick Dairy Queen over Wendy's. That's disgusting. Why are we going to a fast food place for our first date, first of all? But I would have to say Wendy's. How would you describe a color to a person who's been blind since birth? I would probably describe it how the color makes me feel. Like blue and green like really calm me. So I would say like it's a calming, like cool color. They're not gonna know what cool really means, I guess. But I mean, colors can make you cooler or hotter, like feel that way perception wise anyways. Who is the first streamer you watched? The first streamer that isn't like a huge streamer that I watched was His and Hers, actually. I was really intrigued by like them being a couple. So I thought that was a really cool stream. Favorite mod. I have like 4. Everyone wants to know who my favorite mod is. Jeff wants to know why Mr. Datsick is my favorite mod. Guys, I don't have a favorite mod. And if I did, I wouldn't say it in front of everybody. You know, like it's just, I'm not gonna do that. What's been the hardest thing about being a content creator? The hardest thing about being a content creator is I think people thinking because I'm a female that it's just easy and people just watch me. Like there's a ton of females that stream that don't have very many viewers, if any at all. I think that my content is like interesting and I make like a comfortable environment for people, but it's definitely when people like devalue the work you put in. Like I spent 4 hours this morning making content and then I went to the gym and that was my me time. You know what I mean? And now I'm streaming. Like I think people think it's like, oh, it's just so easy for you, but it's still like a lot of work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think also like the mental part is hard of like people consistently harassing you, people consistently, and that's like more because I'm a woman, but people being rude and saying like you don't deserve what you've worked for, or like men being like assuming you can't game or like do things correctly. Like what's been your best and worst experience with Apex? The best experience with Apex is honestly it's not as like toxic as other games. Like I don't feel harassed as much as a woman on Apex. I think that's really awesome. The worst thing about Apex is there's no freaking sound. I die like 10 times a day to people that I can't hear behind me. What's a game you thought you'd love but you hated? Krista wants to ask me that. I thought Hyperscape was gonna be super dope. I hated it. And it wasn't like a I don't understand it thing. I gave it some time and I still was like, that game, if they did some little bit different with it, I think it'd be really good right now. Dude wants to know, if you could go back 5 years, what would you change about your future? I would have started streaming sooner, I think, because it's so popular now. I think definitely, I wish I would have started streaming when I was moving to New York, because one, that's something I could have done and like lived in New York a little longer, even though I don't think I belong there. Like, I don't think it would have worked out anyways. But it's something where I could like move around and travel and do. Like, I really like the idea of like being able to like not be grounded to a certain place. So I would have started streaming sooner. Have you ever practiced any martial arts? I did used to do Taekwondo. So yeah, I did Taekwondo for a little bit. Relationship status, guys, I'm single. I don't have a boyfriend. I know it's like really surprising for you guys to hear that. Sorry to disappoint you. How do I enter a casual relationship while I'm emotionally unavailable? Reed wants to know. You don't. If you're emotionally unavailable, it's not fair to you or that partner to enter a relationship. In my personal opinion, I've found myself like almost getting into relationships when I wasn't emotionally available or ready to commit to someone, and I don't think that that is fair at all. So yeah, I would say you don't, for sure. Would you ever consider taking up hockey since you enjoy rollerblading? I think hockey would be fun. I don't have any friends that play hockey or rollerblade. I would try it. If Lynx could talk, what would he say? He would literally whine. He would probably just whine about something. I would put money on him just whining all day. Wouldn't you? Link. He whines all day anyways. When did you decide you wanted to be a hairdresser, and did you consider doing anything else at the time? I did originally want to do interior design, but I was 17 in high school. My parents didn't have money. I didn't want to really pay for school myself because I didn't want to even go to school at the time. I was so burnt out. I actually did really well in high school. I had like a 4.0 the entire time. I took some college courses. I took like pre-algebra and geography, actually, college courses in high school. So I was like preparing for college, but I just I didn't want to be like in that kind of workforce. I knew I wanted to do something that was like artistic and creative, and that's what brought me to hair, and I really enjoy it. I've loved it. I've done it for 10 years. I'm slightly burnt out. I think because I've enjoyed streaming so much, it's hard to play video games for a living or do hair. Favorite lesson in school? What do you mean, Z? Like, what was my favorite class? I loved art. I actually really liked math too, but art was my favorite. If you could magically be transported anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would it be? Tokyo. Tokyo, because that is such a long flight. It would be so nice to just skip that flight, and I want to go anyways. Favorite TV show? The Office. I've watched it a million times. It's still The Office. I couldn't tell you anything else. If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you would do? I'd probably, depending on how much it was, probably quit my job, invest, and try to build my stream. All right, Blackacres, most cringe moment on stream. Speaking of headstands, I was doing a headstand and something inappropriate happened. That was the most awkward, cringy. I just had to delete them. It was just super weird. How's rollerblading coming along? It's good. It's too hot right now to ride outside. It's been 90 all week, so I'm really sad I haven't been able to ride. I actually was thinking about going at like 7 tonight if it's cool enough by then. It's just been too hot. If you went back in time and could meet day one Ness streamer, what would be the one thing you would tell her? I would tell her not to be afraid of like the harassment, people harassing her, because I used to get so caught up in that and like so scared and so freaked out and just like in my head. And then like the mean things people say, like that doesn't bother me anymore, but I used to obsess over it and like it would keep me up at night. And you really just have to be like, people are mean, and the bigger you get, the meaner they are. Like everyone wants to pull you down if you're climbing, you know, unless they're the homie. Anything you looking forward to this summer? It was Country Jam, but we just canceled that, so there's nothing. Zach says, what's your biggest life goal? It's so crazy because I used to have all these goals. Like, I want to own a salon. I want to travel here, travel there. And it's really sad, but like, I just want to enjoy my life and be content and happy consistently happy. That is a huge goal. Your mental health is so much more important than what kind of house you own, what kind of money you have. You know what I mean? What content creator would you like to play with? I think, God, Nicewig would be so cool because he's somebody that I like look to for content all the time.